election yesterday. Can you give us an update, any sort of takeaways as it pertains to it?
Well, same and except for the fact that my entire slate won. So I want to congratulate the membership that came out to vote. I mean, now we have to work on uniting, rebuilding the party. And, you know, I'm quite happy.
Ms. Beckles, you're declaring victory. When will the official numbers be?
Yeah, shortly.
All right.
Because it went up to the wee hours of this morning. But I'm just saying, yes, that's information.
In light of that, Ms. Beckles, you know, there were reports of irregularities and anomalies with the process. The Election Supervisory Committee, they would have been presented with a letter detailing some of those irregularities. What's your response to those irregularities that have been flagged and raised?
Well, listen, I mean, I have been in elections. I've contested many elections in the PNM, and from time to time you would hear the issue of irregularities. I mean, you would have heard me speak about the importance of modernization of the party, you know, looking at how we address those issues. I mean, I was pretty open about it, that we have some work to do as it relates to that. So I'm looking forward to addressing it. I mean, you know, we have to accept that there have been some shortcomings, and we have to deal with it. And I'm committed to doing that.
Do you think those concerns would perhaps undermine or erode the party's efforts to unite and to heal?
No, I do not believe that. What I think is that if you don't address it, yes, it will affect it. Thank you. Sure.
General Secretary post?
Well,
I spoke to Mr.
all indications look like a clean sweep for the team, the 1 PNM team.
How would you respond to the criticisms being leveled against the Election Supervisory Committee in its handling of the process, whereby several anomalies and irregularities were raised and perhaps not addressed in a timely manner?
We're not at a state of perfection. I think the committee generally did a very good job, and therefore the results, the votes for those who won are significantly more than for those who were not successful. But I congratulate everyone who took part in the process. At the end of the day, we move towards rebuilding and moving forward with the party.
Of course, it will be ratified next Sunday.
Yes, the special convention will be held next Sunday. At that point, all the elected officers will be installed into office.
What's your message for the PNM today, Mr. Cummings?
At this point in time, unity. Let's get together and work together for a stronger PNM.
So, Ms. Arawi, thank you so much for the interview. Yesterday, of course, was the PNM's internal election. We reported on it. We also reported that there were some, perhaps, instances of anomalies, irregularities. Up to now, do you have an update on it in terms of the final count, what's taken place, and what is your response to the reports of the irregularities, as well as those irregularities being lodged to the Election Supervisory Committee?
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for the questions. Morning, young people. How are you all? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Parliament. Sorry about that. Here we go again. So, yes. So yesterday was the internal election of the PNM, and it was classic democracy at work. I don't think that there's ever been an election in the history of this country where there aren't anomalies that present themselves. From the perspective of a candidate, I'm not speaking in any official capacity because I was a candidate in the election. I was very pleased with the event. I can tell you that, again, speaking as a candidate, it shows a full victory for the 1 PNM slate. And that's just a candidate speaking. Those formal results have not come out yet. And I was very pleased by the volume of turnout in that regard. I think that the need for modernizing the PNM's method is certainly upon us. As you know, I am very much an advocate of digitization and structures, so I expect that to flow. Indeed, I intend to bring forward some tools that I've developed in other places to assist in that, subject, of course, to the rules and regulations. So yesterday, I think, was a good exercise. It takes us to some history-making points. We have the first political leader who is a woman in the PNM after 70 years. Some people, I noticed this morning on the radio, some folks were getting it wrong. The poll was conducted yesterday. The convention happens on Sunday. And under our constitution, the executive is sworn in or elected, quote unquote, at the convention. So the poll was taken yesterday in keeping with our precedent of having a one-man, one-vote spread across the 41 constituencies. So all in all, great exercise. I congratulate everybody that participated in the event. There were some 51 candidates, as you know, which shows that our democracy is very strong. And I'm looking forward to the move ahead now, as our eyes are now focused outside of that electoral process on healing, on admissions and reflections on where we went wrong, because clearly we went very wrong, as the general election result showed. And now it's time to focus on what's ahead of us. I'm very concerned about the democracy that is at stake in this government's exercise of its mandate. I've never heard statements of the type that I'm hearing from the government in our democracy, so I'm focused upon that.
Let me circle back to this point before you enter Parliament, Mr. Al-Rawi. Do you think that in terms of the party's bid and effort to unite and to heal, what transpired in yesterday's internal election perhaps would erode that effort based on the irregularities and the anomalies that were reported? Do you think that will affect the healing process?
Not at all. The healing process is one that has to happen, and an election is a competition. You must expect sharp competition. We are nowhere near as sharp as the UNC's internal elections, and here they are in government. What we had this time around was a slate of people that refused to give their names. This game changers position. Maybe an analysis of the vote will show how that operated or didn't operate. So it's the first time in our democratic processes we saw an anonymous group making barbs. And until people like that present themselves with a name and a face, you really can't entertain any discussion. I think that the process is in keeping with what we've had before. When Dr. Rowley took over from Mr. Manning, we had an election within 5 weeks. So at least from my own living memory, very, very proximate positions, we've had that. We've always had slates in elections, etc. It's over. Now the look is on the outside as we deal with the realities of 102,000 PNM supporters not voting for us and also not voting for the UNC.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, great. Have a good morning.